Shall we just really do that again? Sorry, guys. Audio problems. It's still 2022. There's a wicket, by the way. My name's Avni Sheikh. You're watching the cricket.com watch along. There's Shweta Haranali and Somesh Agarwal with me right now. And we're going to be talking about India's chase. And it's not got off to the perfect start. Somesh was just mentioning that we all got excited when they were 67 for 4. But thanks to a sensational partnership, Australia have got up to 196 for 4, Shweta. What's happening? What is happening?
India would be definitely disappointed with the way they performed in the field.
Yeah.
Close to 16 to 17 runs as overthrows, misfields. They would be hurting at the moment, definitely. And with the start now with Smriti, I think a lot relied on Smriti and a lot relies on Smriti and Harman in this batting lineup.
Yep.
And you're already a wicket down, and it's just the fourth ball of the over.
Yeah, it's, eventful already. But we're hoping something special from Shefali Verma because, look, she scored, I think she's India's top scorer in this series, if I'm not wrong. I think 127 runs or something like that.
So maybe we'll have our stats and all because there is a plethora of stats that we have to dig in for the first innings. So we'll have him on probably. Yeah.
Oh, he's already here. It's like
he was in a hurry.
he was in a hurry. I mean, yeah, we were just kind of talking about lots of things going on in terms of the numbers. And the one that you shared me just before we went live was the fact that most sixes hit in a series of 5 matches or more. What a shot! Oh my God! Sorry, but just a plea.
Oh,
that is Halim Diol.
Halim Diol.
First bowler. Wow. So yeah, Ani, talk to me. What are the numbers that we're looking for straight away? Because sixes is one of them.
So, so this is the most sixes hit in a women's bilateral series, which is 45. So before it was 42 between South Africa and India in South Africa. So that was in 2018. And apart from that, like more interesting one is this series has seen 8 170 plus totals, 8 170 plus, and this is the 10th innings which is happening, and this is the most 170 plus totals in a bilateral series, men's or women's, anywhere.
Whoa,
So
that is
that's
something good to hear.
and like most is 8, which is the series, and then there was between Bulgaria and Serbia 7 in 2022, West Indies in India 2019 6, and the South Africa England in South Africa in 2026, again West Indies and England 6 in 2021 in West Indies.
Wow.
So that is one. And this is the second highest fifth or lower wicket partnership in women's T20Is. So first one is some Rwanda players, the 135, and then it's 129 between Ashley Gardner and Grace Harris in this one. And this is the second highest total against India in women's T20Is. And out of the top 5, 3 have come in this series. So 196 for 4,
Oh,
this one, and 188 for 3, 187 for 1 have come in this series. The highest was against 190. Highest was by England in 2018, which is 199. That was done in a chase, which is also the record chase for women's T20Is. And out of the top 5, 4 have been in Brabourne and 1 in D.Y. Patil.
There's something around that we're on pitch, honestly. But yeah, Ani will catch up with you in due course. But thanks for all those numbers. And
Yep.
really want to ask Shweta about the trends that we've seen emerge so far. I know India are 3 down, potentially going to lose the series 4-1. But what excites you heading into that World Cup in Feb?
I think India probably would be very happy with the way Devika Vaidya's performed. So that is one. Richa Ghosh, the new finisher,
Yeah.
potential finisher for the Indian side. So they'll be happy with the. I'm sure it's either going to be 3-2 or 4-1, but it actually doesn't really
Reflect.
reflect what how the series has been played. It's been really very competitive, and all the games have potentially gone all the way down to the wire. So that is something that
Yeah, I mean, 3-1 or 4-1 will probably flatter Australia, even though they're a really mighty team. So, but what amazes me is that when I watch India play T20 international in terms of the men's scheme of things, we don't have that many bowling options like the women do.
Yeah, of course.
Women have 7 options today, even though they've got taken.
At the moment, I just feel like this Australian team should not be allowed. It's like, why you guys take a break for 2-3 years, let others compete. Because this is like, it's like there is no competition. Australian
But does it give you that vibe of
Wild
the
ahead.
Steve or Ricky Ponting team?
this is
Even today, like, it's just nuts, dude. Like, I know Grace Harris and Ashley Gardner, great players. But like, if it's not them, it's Beth Mooney who's done the damage.
This is next level.
It's crazy,
Next level dominance.
and they've been like this for a while. I
It's
know.
been like this for a while, especially since WBP has come into the picture.
Yeah,
It's just given Australia a lot of options in terms of having domestic players, and it's just a lot of exposure for them.
and that's been the catalyst, right? I mean, they were the first ones to jump on that bandwagon of having a women's league, so to speak. I don't know when the women's IPL is going to be out. The rumors are that it could happen this year. Fingers crossed on that. But I don't know. It just gives me the impression at times, even if we want to win that World Cup in Feb, Australia's a team to beat. Like how you keep harping with the fact that we need to like strive to beat England in terms of the men's white ball scheme of things. Australia are just like great bowlers, spinners
This
are
is
top.
like a bigger delta
So what is
between
their
the top
weakness?
team and the others.
What is their weakness? I know we beat them in a super over, but is it they just all have to have a bad day? 4 for 67 to go to 196 for 4 is ridiculous.
The only way to beat them is like every nick should carry, every catch should be taken, every half chance has to be taken.
Yeah.
No overthrows, no misfields. They should be dropping a couple of catches.
No, but okay, fine. You said 16 to 20 runs we could have saved if we did the basics right.
Definitely.
But 175 plus is still a challenging total.
Exactly. I mean,
It is.
if India would have fielded better, they would still be chasing what?
180, definitely 180.
But with all the numbers that Ani's told us, if Brabourne seems like 200 is par.
No, I think for the women's game, 175, 180 is par at the Brabourne Stadium. So when you're from Bombay, there's been a saying that if you're not getting runs, please go and bat at Brabourne. You're 110% going to get runs.
How's your record there?
Pretty good. I made my debut there.
Oh, it's a good moment, good memories indeed. So, look, Ani was just telling us all these highest totals that Australia have conjured up in women's T20 international cricket. They're showing it on the broadcast right now. But keep your comments coming through. Wasan the Rhine, always a friend of the channel. Bowling performance has been bad, not happy with the death bowling. How does India figure out their death bowling plans? Is it going to be like what we saw in terms of spin and seam, which is something that has worked for them? Or
I think over the past couple of months since the Commonwealth Games, they've assigned this role to Dipti Sharma.
Yeah.
Today I felt she bowled the penultimate over, and with two right-handers and off-spinner bowling, probably they could have gone with Devika Vaidya, ball turning away, it's leg spinner ball turning away. She got conceded a lot of runs in which we were 3 overs, 26 runs.
Yeah.
So maybe they could have taken that gamble,
but because she's relatively inexperienced. Do you think that was the call? Or?
I think that should have been the call. But there was no option of actually having Dipti Sharma, because an off-spinner bowling into a right-hander, you have the swinging arc and...
Oh, hold on, Shweta. There's a top edge here. And it's Shefali. One is it curtains for India? It is it. Oh, and that is an insult to injury almost. Who was it? It was Grace Harris, who's pretty much had a game to remember, but you would want to forget that quickly, lads. Blessing in disguise, that for India. Because Shefali holds... Honestly, Shefali holds the bloody guns here. No disrespect to Harmanpreet and all of them. We need Shefali to like really take this power play by the scruff of the neck. Even though Australia had like a sedate start.
The thing with Shefali is, she plays far too many shots. Which is definitely a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but at times the point is with Priti out, Shefali's wicket becomes like a boom bust situation.
True, but when she burst onto the scene and then was conjuring up these past 30s, 40s, 50s, now you think at times, dude, I hope she's not playing for her place. And like it's that whole thinking, oh, okay, fine, like now I need to take care of my reputation and all of that. Do you think the same or no?
I think she had come into the series under a bit of pressure because India played Sri Lanka and the Asia Cup. Wickets were a lot slower and it was not something that would suit her style of play. Coming into the series, wicket at Brabourne will definitely suit her style of play. If the ball comes onto the bat nicely, shorter boundaries, with dew around, it will race to the boundary. Yeah. And she scored a 50 in the second innings. I think she holds the key right now because a lot would depend on her how much India get in the power play.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, she's been India's top scorer this series, so hopefully she can get some form back. Is there more cricketing action for them before the Grand Showpiece event?
They will. They'll play South Africa and West Indies. It's a tri-series kind of a thing just before the World Cup.
And it's a T20 tri-series.
Yeah, just before that.
And feature Australia, so they can.
And it's in South Africa.
It is in South Africa, and Shefali and Richa obviously will be part of the India under-19 squad, so they'll be without.
Yeah, I guess the best part about the series is the fact that they can adapt to conditions quickly, I'm guessing, especially if you play a three-match try series just before the World Cup. It'll always serve them well. Hopefully, you'll get Veda Krishnamurthy on for watch along or two during the Women's World Cup, which we plan to do, by the way. So support us. And if any of you guys are watching right now and you're wondering, hey, this is something new, tell a friend, because there's lots of people who are wondering about certain spaces like this, especially with women's cricket and the way it's picked up momentum in the last decade, really. But I think it's all on us and our owners and cricket.com to do lots more things like this. We were actually bickering with Som. He wanted to do this entire series, which we should have. So apologies to you, my friend. But look, we're here. So, of course, ask Shweta anything about women's cricket. You can ask her who the GOAT according to her is. That's a good question, just to break the ice. Charlotte Edwards?
No, I think
Elisa Perry?
we spoke about
Hands
it.
down.
Yeah, Elise Perry, definitely. I think, is there something she can't do?
That is true.
If
For
she
you?
had come into the series under a lot of pressure,
Is it just the England, Australian lens that we're looking at, or would you go for someone like.
Priyanka that is.
I was thinking that because about
No.
like what she's done for the game, what she's achieved, bro.
Yeah, true. But I mean,
Or Julan.
the kind of career that Elise Perry has had. I mean, it's
Many
very
people
different.
might watching this be like, how are you not mentioning Mithali?
No, Bitali has had impact at her own level.
Longevity,
but
yeah.
So that's a different conversation. But the impact on results, the team. I mean,
Format.
The championship.
they won like T20 World Cup for fun.
Oh,
The championships, and coming into the series, she was not sure if she'll be part of the 11. So,
Who won the Commonwealth again?
Of course.
Yeah.
my
Why are you
God.
asking that question?
So they've literally.
it's Australia versus India. From
So all the big competitions since, say, 2019 is Australia.
Even
2019,
before
I
that.
Okay. Oh my God. Apart from
I
that
think the only
Shop
time
Soul
I
thing.
remember
Another
when
team winning.
Australia didn't win anything was I think 16 and 17. When 16, I think West Indies women's and men's
16,
team
yeah.
both won the World Cup.
They were in the
2017
finals.
when
Yeah.
Harmanpreet Special beat them in the semi-finals, and then
And we
England,
lost it.
England gone on to.
Oh my God. Yeah, but what a knock that was. What a knock
Yeah.
that was. That came at where Grace Road or something, Harmanpreet.
So,
Derby, oh my God, 171.
Oh,
We'll need
yeah.
something like that from them. But Australia is super smart. Like we've just been talking about how they're all athletic. They all can pretty much do all the basics, right?
And Perry the fielder at long on.
Perry the fielder long gone as well. Do you like this concept generally, guys? Where there's a person speaking and fielding at the same time?
Yeah, I mean as long as the player is not distracted, I mean we won't mind. I mean at times I feel like just shut the commentators and have the front mic volume up.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I think of this, I think about that 2016 Australia India series, the men's one, and Kohli, I think, catches Smith, and he's like, now talk. And Dhoni's like, what are you going on? He's like, I'm baat kar rahe the. I was like, wow, animated Kohli days. 18 for 1, 3.3, India chasing 197, remember. I love Harleen Deol. I think she's one of the best fielders that we've got. But batting wise, I don't know. I mean, I don't watch that much women's cricket, so I'll take this with a pinch of salt. Jemima Rodriguez or Harleen Deol, who excites you more?
honestly, at this moment, I think even before the game started, I remember having a conversation with Somesh that India missed a trick. India actually opted for another bowler in place of Jemima, and that bowler just ended up bowling one over. So they could have actually strengthened their batting lineup, especially on these wickets.
Yeah, I mean,
Fortune favors the brave.
We've just started these watch-alongs, so we've not been very critical, but selection with the Indian cricket team, both on men's and women's side, have been very questionable. I mean, like for example, we were discussing. I mean, India are sort of batters at the moment. Shefali Verma was doing a decent job with the ball. She did a decent job in the last game as well.
Yeah.
There's no point dropping a batter for a bowler, and the bowler eventually bowled only one over. And I mean, things like Deepti Sharma, I know you've identified her as your dead bowler, but when two right-handers are batting, might as well give it to a left-arm spinner because you've picked her as a proper bowler. So I mean, these decisions. I mean, obviously as time moves forward and we become more comfortable, not just praising the Indian women, we'll start to look at them more critically. And this is one such discussion that is needed to be had. I mean, you can't just pick players for the sake of picking up. You have to make a proper 11.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think India did a good job today.
Fair. Now, when you talk about just the changes that they've made since the last World Cup, the ODI World Cup, Natali's obviously, closed the curtains in her career. Julan Goswami, similar way. I think Rishikesh Kardhar now is calling the shots in terms of the women's team. So how has this all worked out in terms of this approach building up to the new World Cup under Harmanpreet and some of the tactical calls? Is it The guys who are, I mean, like Kanitkar and stuff, or
The surprising part was 3 months before the World Cup, the head coach has been part of the team for such a long time. Suddenly, you don't have him. There's no
yeah.
idea what has happened there. But most of the things, I think Harman would be taking a call on how things are. And
But do you think that was inevitable, Ramesh Pawar's reign coming to an end? Do you think like I mean I know like we were just discussing the fact that Australia have just been winning everything, but India's still done pretty well under him, right?
India have done really well under
Yeah.
him. Obviously, they'll be disappointed with the 50-over World Cup.
Yeah.
Most of them, after their heroics in the 2017, expected them at least to qualify for the semi-finals. And the heartbreak,
And how long was he coach for?
he was coached after 20, almost a year.
That seems like a short time.
So he
Because,
was the coach back in 2018 for
After the-
T20
yeah.
World Cup, and then,
And then
WB
W,
coach,
yeah.
and
oh, shot, Chifali, please, long gone, no, long gone. There was always going to be the trap, and it is, of course, Gardner who can't do anything wrong. What can they do wrong? I know Grace Harris
oh,
dropped
who's
a
the
catch.
player of the tournament, guys?
Mm,
Obviously,
Heather Graham, wickets, most wickets.
player of this series, dude. What
This
are you talking
series.
about? Yeah.
Yeah.
Grace Harris, probably one of the contenders.
I mean, who's you think in a series which is dominated with full of runs, wouldn't we kind of tend to the bowlers or no?
Yeah, maybe.
Beth Mooney then. I mean, if you have to really just choose a batsman, Beth Mooney. I mean, average of some 68 odd, striking 141 odd. Honestly, I just mugged up all these numbers by the way.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
guys are wondering, what is he saying?
Looking at impact, last watch along in this tournament, I mean, As Gardner has been, whatever she's doing has been working.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, from an impact point of view, yeah. In the Super Over game, also, I think she had a huge part to play, right?
No, she was out of the first ball. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. So, yeah, I think Beth Mooney from an Indian perspective, I can think that Harmanpreet's got runs, so is Shefali, so is Priti. Richa has probably been the best impact player that India have had.
So, I mean, Vasant is asking, are there any other than the bowlers we have?
Where is Pooja Vaskar?
She's injured. Once the squad was announced, the BCCI just put out a release saying she's not considered because of injury.
Okay.
No idea about Sneha Rana.
Yeah, that remains a myth too. I mean, what we saw last year as well. Remains a mystery. Sorry, not myth. What we saw last year when she played that one-off test against England and she did well. A couple of other games in coloured clothing as well. In England,
yeah. She was like that. I mean, not to make a obviously she's not like for like comparison, but she sort of like Lord Thakur.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, where she used to come in and
I
just
think Vaishali is
games.
waiting at the back end. I mean, guys, if you can add her, we'll have one more voice.
Yep, Vaishali joins us, and Vaishali's kind of late, but she apologized on WhatsApp, so you're forgiven, Vaishali. But what's happening here? 25 for 2. I mean, to be fair, Australia also were in a similar position just before the power play, and we saw how well they recovered. What's your gut feel? I know we're playing for pride and consolation here, but do you think India can make a match of this?
I think if India needs to gain that confidence, they need to win this. And yeah, we have lost both our openers, same as Australia. But I think
That's a
it's an
shot. Sorry,
opportunity for
Vaishali, that is a shot. What a shot that is. Go on. 35 for 2.
yeah. I was about to say that Arlene to but a mix for some time, but she has actually not gotten many opportunities. Win it from here, like it will be for her as well, and it will give a kind of in her league.
I think we just lost you. We heard Harleen.
Yeah.
So we'll try to decipher that, and I'll just try to sort your frame out as well. So let's see how this conversation over. Vaishali will be back with us shortly. Again, I mean, she's from your state, so I think the Wi-Fi in Bhopal might be a little dodgy. No, that's just banter with Sob. So Brown into the attack. Harman out there. Harman should get some runs because I honestly want her to like lead India to glory. It'll be great if she can do that in 2 months' time, but she has all the makings of it. Harma still has like 5 to 7 years left in her career, right? Or is that wishful thinking?
5 to 7.
No? Why? If she does what Mithali did?
I'm pretty sure she won't do. She won't. I think 3 years definitely.
3 years.
3 years. 3 years. 3 to 4 years.
Who are the other potential leaders right now on this team?
Smriti, yes.
Smriti?
Smriti would be one of them. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few to choose. Ooh, she's got back. She's just got her bat down in the nick of time. I mean, Australia also have a lot of bowling options, guys. I mean, Alana King's not even bowled a
They
single
have a
ball
lot
yet.
of bowling options. McGrath's not even bowled a single ball in the series.
Wow. Not in the series, wow. Yeah, we were just jinxing her because got a 26 today, but yeah, it just makes you think about how Australia
The thing
spoiled the
about
choice.
Madra is the number one batter in the world at the moment, and she has not had a very big impact on the series, and still Australia have like bossed it.
Apart from the first 2 games, he's not scored in any of the
Yeah.
in any of the games.
But this T20 World Cup, for people like Beth Mooney, Elisa Healy, of course she's not there today, will it be like, dare I say, the final tournament?
I don't think so.
They're not in the twilight phase of their career at all, right? So
They
basically,
still have. I think most of
Short.
them will have at
Short.
least. Sure, yeah.
oh, that's travel. So basically, expect Australia to plunder us for 3, 4 more years, given that how they're being
Yeah,
dominating the
more than
world scene right now.
Unless and until India just quick start the IPL and
Yeah.
we get proper dead bowlers.
But I hope that really has the change that it had on the Australian women's team, like the women's Big Bash did, like the IPL having that in India. Because even when I see all these trailblazers and supernovas and that velocity that they have, when they term it as
Women's T20.
the women's T20 challenge, just like, you can't even tell because the games just
Yeah,
happen
I
like
mean, and
4,
anyway,
5,
just
6
two
days.
games and
It's 3 games.
Can't
Yeah.
tell.
I mean the scheduling is shoddy. I
Very
mean, at
shoddy.
times a team is playing at 8,
And then
and
next
day
day
4.
4.
It's like just imagine will they ever do this
No.
to a men's team? Never.
And sometimes even the way they shoehorn that particular series,
Yeah.
it's like just before or after the playoffs.
It is
During the
before
playoffs, as in the
Yeah.
During
breaks
the
after the
playoffs.
league stage, that's how they do it, and it's like it just goes unnoticed.
Yeah. And sometimes I just feel that's a move from the BCCI where they're doing it for the sake of doing it. You either go full fledged and have a proper women's IPL. The pathway, I think, should be now that you've anyway established franchisees, your 10 franchisees, you just do the Gujarat Lions women's, your RCB
Yeah.
women, and maybe then you can have like academies where girls and guys can be scouted off, and then that's the pathway into the Indian cricket team. Because let's face it, even so many players nowadays are
And
playing
that's how it's
in the
done in the
IPL.
100 and the BBL.
Yeah, and that's how it's great. So great start by the way from Harleen. We heard Vaishali just say Harleen before she disappeared. She's going to come back shortly. Last ball of power play, 50 for 2. I'll take that after obviously Smriti and Shafali getting out, and these two have to kind of just build. Because when we were watching the first innings, 67 for 4, and we were all ordering food by the way, and then suddenly they've just gone off and they're just whacking sixes for fun. So I don't expect that kind of counter attack in cricket, but it's more nudge and nurdle and build.
Yeah, I mean,
And then pray for Richa Ghosh.
We were hungry when we ordered the food, but by the time it arrived, our hunger was gone. Like, yeah, bhai, what happened? What just happened?
It's gone. Yeah, we can add Vaishali now. Perfect. Vaishali, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
we
a
can.
little choppy. It's a little bit like both the teams in the power play now getting off to the perfect starts. But we'll try to kind of talk to you and have this conversation right now. We were just asking Shweta Shivali about, sorry, Vaishali about different players heading into that World Cup. Who excites you in this Indian team right now from a batting lens? Is it the blatantly obvious Kriti Mandana and Harmanpreet and Shafali, or do you think there'll be other hidden gems like Harleen as we're seeing? Oh, she's disappeared again. She's disappeared again. There's something dodgy about that internet. We'll try to sort that out for y'all. Apologies to all the viewers, including Vasan Narayan. Um, can we take a comment from SS98, Ani, if you can just feature that on? And I'll ask Shweta what she thinks of that.
Yeah, so actually, he went on to ask Jemima has been dropped,
Hmm.
but I mean, what about Gaikwad? how was how has she played with such bowling and fielding for the country? The SS9 kid, often critical. Yeah.
And he's talking about Rajeshwari guys.
Yeah.
Rajeshwari, right. Yeah, I think she's going to come back. She bowled decently well. Yes, fielding was something that India, I think overall as a team.
Oh, the dive would have helped her, but the throw was spot on. And Gaikwad, like Veda's best friend, you know. Like same state and all that. Karnataka represent Rajeshwari.
That's a good thing about good fielders. They at least dive as batting.
That is true. Oh, she's not even in the frame
This
here.
game looks weird.
Get in! Oh my God, she's gone. Oh, when you're playing so well, Harleen Diol, why have you run yourself out? And it's a point that's so mentioned, which is true, I guess. Even despite the long dive, and it was a perfect dive. I mean, it just tells you about the fielding once again from Australia. And quick removal of the bails. 3 down India now, and it doesn't look like it's going to be anything to cheer about, guys. I mean, what's to look forward to ultimately? Is it now just a case of the batsman getting into some runs? Richa Ghosh, obviously, we've spoken about her.
She's here.
Yeah, maybe
She's here?
She's
She's here.
been promoted.
She's been promoted up the order.
So, what, 2 spots, 1 spot? Just 1 spot.
One spot. I mean, because Jemima is gone, everyone is like being promoted one place.
Correct. Going on.
Students have just so many boxes covered. They have Alana King as well, who's one of the spinners to look forward to. Then they lose
We're
that.
not talking about Jess Johnson. She
Yeah.
ruled out of the series as a left arm
Yeah.
spinner.
And she's pretty handy with the bat as well.
She's very handy with the bat. There's a lot of options.
But they're playing the extra spinner here, right? But they're just playing Alana King and who else is the other?
Gardner.
So, in South Africa, will it be like for like? Or will they not think about that? Because you said like there's other players to come back in.
I don't think there'll be like for like. Obviously, Australia missing Meg Lanning and Rachel Ames is retired from international cricket. So Meg Lanning, I probably feel that she will be back. So yeah.
So Jess Jonathan, Meg
But in
Lanning.
this team, if they play just Jonathan, who does she replace?
One of the seamers. I think it'll be Annabelle Sutherland.
So technically, they're just like 2-3 players away from the best team ever in terms of being the Australian team, right? So if you add Meg Lanning, Alicia Healy's not playing this game. Jess Jonathan, those
So
3.
she'll come in place of Rishmi for sure
Okay.
and open the innings
Yeah.
with Beth Mooney.
Yeah.
So that's one replacement. If Meg Lanning comes in, then yeah, I think one of the all-rounders will have to miss out.
Wow, that's a call that they have to make, but look, they won't be caring too much because I think they have the best 12-13 in terms of all the women's cricket teams right now. Even England at times, I felt they were just turning around the corner.
This is the team.
Oh, indecision. Yes, no. Sometimes you think, oh, it's a direct hit and you're gone for sure, but even that was nuts. Oh, that's a good shot. Harmanpreet plays the speed better than Virat.
At least he plays the sweep. That itself is better than
Kohli's.
But sweep is her go-to.
Yeah,
Sweep,
she's a damn
Stock,
good-
yeah.
Yeah, I think I only seen her sweep like mad in the 100 when she was playing, I think.
The 171 innings.
Even the 171. Oh, don't tell me that's out.
No.
Oh, it's
Going
drifting.
out.
It's drifting. Okay, third time lucky you feel with Vaishali's internet? Let us know in the comments below. Let me know right now. Let's pray and hope that we can hear her. Ani, please add her and we can. Vaishali, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better. It's better. We're getting there.
I really
So,
hope it
I'll try
doesn't
to
glitch me
go
now.
on my questions as well. So essentially, right now, on a chance of 100%, how much do you think India has an opportunity to win, or do you think the game's out of contention and they should just probably play for some form?
No, and I think we'll have to wait for Vishali's opinion for some other day.
Yeah, Vishali is gone. Vishali is gone with absolute terrible news there. Ani, you can take her off in terms of, yeah, just removing her from the screen. She's back on. Vaishali, I'll contact you on WhatsApp. I think it's terrible because like we certainly want to listen to you. And I think during the first watch along we did with her, I mean, it was fine, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just choppy today, so don't worry about it. We'll try to figure that out as soon as possible. But if not, I'll let you know on WhatsApp ASAP, if that's okay. All right, Vishali can't concur with my thoughts there. But let's not let that affect the watch long because look, India 53 for 3, 7.2 overs. There is Richa Ghosh, who Soms mentioned and Shweta's mentioned, who's been brilliant so far in the series, more so with her power hitting. She's come in touch early today, but I mean, given the fact that they still need 140 from 13, that's like more than 10 runs in over already. So India playing catch up
So
cricket big
actually,
time.
the last game, till the time India needed 12 overs, they were going at a good rate and they were managing the rate. But once it crossed 12, that is when
And then it
became
came
a
down to
problem.
what, 20 of 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, and 10 of 2, and then yeah, we just out of it. So, I mean, do you think India's women's team at least have a philosophy and a blueprint of how to play cricket, or is it
Not
replicating of the
I don't
men's
think so. At this moment,
situational?
India women's team is like they have a few superstars and others are
and the
sort of
teams,
play around
yeah, especially
because
the batting
That's,
unit.
that
At times-
sounds familiar. Oh,
at times they play both Radha Yadav and
That is,
Gaikwad,
yeah.
and it's like, why would you play two left-arm spinners in the same team, which essentially are bowlers?
yeah.
It's not like one of them is an all-rounder. So
Is Harman limping there? Or is it just me?
No, I think but there was some bizarre running here because I know it's that old saying that don't run in the misfield, but I think she literally came all the way down and then got sent back. So I don't
I think
think.
I agree with what Somesh is saying. So
Yeah.
Radha today just bowled 1 over and she's supposed to bat at 8. So India need to find what her role is in the team or just strengthen that with an additional batter then.
But who's the additional batter that we can look at right
In
now?
the team right now in the squad you'll have Jemima.
Okay. And if it's not
And
for her,
she's played well in the Asia Cup. So I completely agree that she's not performed in the 4 matches, but
yeah.
she's
I
played
know
well
Richa
in,
Ghosh should be probably the first choice we could keep her, but would you be tempted to play Tanya Bhatia as just a batter, or she not that good?
not in this
Not in this format.
not in this format. They have a
Oh God, she's limping. But there's still a while away for that South Africa series, so she can enjoy her Christmas and New Year break, recover, in case there's anything crazy. But I don't think that will be the case.
but I mean, if you look outside the spot, there were a few names that we spoke
Yeah.
about in the last watch along as well.
Mm.
Maybe we can repeat them for our users. That
Yeah.
So for the wicket keeping option, they have Yastika in the squad right now.
Oh yeah.
She had a really good challenger, the T20 Challenger Trophy, the domestic tournament.
Did she
And
play the Asia Cup?
she wasn't part of it.
Okay.
So Asia Cup, Asia Cup, Richa Ghosh was there. Commonwealth Games, unfortunately, Richa didn't make it to the squad.
So Yasika got dropped after the 2023 ODI World Cup. Or 2022, sorry. Yeah, I remember there were games there where we were watching it early in the morning and all of that stuff
She's part
going
of
on.
the 50-over squad,
Yeah.
and she bats at 1 down for India. But T20 she's not been able to make it to the level.
Because of the format, you feel?
Because of the format, also when you have another wicket-keeping option who's more attacking,
Yeah.
and she opens the batting for Baroda or any other team that she plays. And India with Shefali and Smriti.
Gone. It was just got trapped there. Got trapped there. And honestly, like Sutherland, I mean, you just mentioned that if Jess Johnson was fit or considered, she would be playing instead of Sutherland. And first ball wicket. First spell, I mean, it's like they come in and they do the business. And this can't get more plum than plum.
this game had so much. We never in it. 60 and 4, and then it has just derailed.
But you know how the
So we're
game
in
is
this-
gone.
We're actually in a similar. We're 58 for 4.
Exactly.
They are 67 for 4.
Exactly.
But now you.
And they were like, I
where-
think,
But now
This is
the
where you-
Australian depth will come into the picture.
yeah, that's true. This is why we'll just get rolled over. Which is sad. So 12 of 11. Is there any more glimmer of hope where anyone can probably be that partner that Richa Ghosh wants right now? Or do you think, because we're playing that one bowler extra?
Definitely, DP has improved her striking ability, so that's one option. I think even Raja is playing.
Yes.
I mean,
But now the problem for India is you have 2 left-handers coming in.
Yeah.
The 2 left-handers, you have Gardner bowling, then you have all Sutherland and everybody bowling cutters. It's going to be very difficult.
So essentially, Pooja Vasavkar was pitch, she would have batted at 6, right? Or 7. Yeah, and she's good. So I'm guessing Richa and Pooja will probably be our designated finishers,
They are. They
right?
are definitely. But the only problem with Pooja right now is that every time before a mega event, she's been injured. So the
Oh,
2018 World Cup.
She's the Hardik Pandya with the Washington Sundar.
I was gonna say Rohit Sharma, but then please,
So
that's
in the
only in the
2018
test.
World Cup, she was part of the squad. She traveled with the team in the warm-up game. She got injured, ACL surgery. Yeah, out for a year. Now again, she's injured before a big series.
ACL injuries are the worst. Oh my good grief, that's crazy. But she could have probably
Everyone had that back and
played it
across
slightly straighter, but look, can't be critical of her. Anyway, it's a game which is like a slight death. I was thinking about a single there. So Deepti Sharma, of course, trended earlier for all the wrong reasons. We can have a chat about that later in terms of all
for the right reason. Why wrong
No,
reason?
it's not
It is the right reason.
arguable.
Not arguable at all.
I mean, if she's warned the batsman, then I understand.
Even if she hasn't, I mean, it is what it is.
That's what it is.
She was outside the crease for 74 equations before she was actually run out. So.
So we as bowlers overstep.
Yeah.
The no ball,
It's
and
a
then
no
it's
ball.
a free hit.
And non-strikers should not be forgiven in terms of not knowing the rules of cricket. That's like just gaining advantage. But yeah, you know what I mean. Oh, it's down by 137 of 68. Generally in women's cricket, is that doable? That's doable, right? But no.
Generally,
Gen-
no.
It's not.
At Brabourne, maybe.
At Brabourne, only if you're Australia, then yes. Because
You
of
need a couple of Grace Harrises to follow.
So that's the thing. I think
because with the batters to follow, there's not much who can clear the boundary ropes with ease.
So it's a case of India having more bowlers who can bat than batters who can bowl.
It's the case of India actually not picking the right level for this.
Okay. So okay, fine. If you were a
No, no
selector,
ball.
oh, it's a no ball free hit. If you were a selector and you had all the freedom in the world to pick your 11 for this game, or actually, let's do it this way for the T20 World Cup. If you have to just name your 11 right now, everyone's fit and firing in Indian cricket. Consider when a Pooja Vasakar right now who's injured. Name me your ideal T20 11 for women's cricket team. The Indian women's cricket team.
So part of it's Priti and
Shefali.
Shefali. One down would be Jenny.
Okay.
Harman at 4.
Harman at 4.
Then you. So it actually depends. If say Smriti gets out, you either promote say Devika as a left-handed option, or you have Dipti as a left-handed. But India is looking at Dipti more as a finisher down the order.
But have we seen that happen before, where they
We've
actually
not
experiment?
actually. We've not. We've not. But the only concern for India would be then who bats lower down. If Dipti comes in, when Smriti falls in the boundary, who bats lower down the order?
Hmm.
So that is one of the things that India will have to. So they have the option of Devika right now, but it's just been 4 matches.
So Harman at 4, then would you play Harleen at 5? No. So Richa Ghosh at 5?
Richa Ghosh will be at 5, Dipti, Devika. So it all depends
Yeah.
on the situation, but I'm just giving you the
Yeah.
11.
Dipti, Devika,
Yeah.
Pooja.
Pooja.
She's at 8.
Then it obviously will be the bowlers. So you'll have Renuka at.
Renuka is undroppable. That's all like.
Yeah.
You
Say
have
that.
a left arm Anjali at 10,
Yeah.
and then the left arm spin of Rajeshwari. If India managed to find a role,
Oh, that's the short of the series, but it's 4.
if India managed to find a role for Radha, then it's either Radha or Rajeshwari.
But, I mean, the way I see it, not a lot has changed. I mean, it's more or less still the same team.
So essentially, only Mithali and
Yeah,
Pooja
maybe,
being in place.
maybe, I mean, I would actually go on and add a Sneh Rana instead of a Radha or a Rajeshwari because you are getting a proper all-rounder. Instead of trying to make someone into an all-rounder, maybe slight compromise on the bowling department, but I mean, the team has a lot of all-rounders, so
the only reason I didn't mention Sneh Rana was because India have a lot of off-spin bowling options.
Harmanpreet.
Harman's right now, she said
Not
she's
bowling.
she's has some shoulder niggles, so she's not bowling. But I think
Shefali.
but then if Vedya plays, she is the leg spin option.
She is
so
the leg
she can turn it away.
she
And
can
then,
turn it.
but then here the only issue is then probably they have to mold Vastrakar as the death bowler.
Yeah.
With Renuka.
But
Oh no.
So they
Renuka
have
herself
Bowls
at the
three up
death
front.
has not been as impactful as she's up front with
So-
the new ball.
So India can obviously go with Renuka and Anjali as the 2 opening bowlers, and Pooja with the old ball.
Yeah. And then do you think they'll still stick with that ploy of bowling Dipti in the penultimate like she did today?
If they have a left-handed option, then yeah, they can. But with 2 right-handers, I think you're asking too much.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, ultimately, there was one of the comments who said India needs a Hardik Pandya type player.
And India even needs
And
two Hardik type players because right now they have a lot of all-rounders or spinners. So
but isn't Pooja Vasikar something like
she
that?
is, but
Has the
then
makings of it at least?
India at times still feel a pacer shot because again, see, the point is uh, with in the women's game, the boundary is brought in. So with player like Grace Harris, for example, spin becomes too easy to hit
Yeah.
at times. So that is where you need a cushion of having an extra pacer, which India can't because then that will shorten their batting lineup. So the best bet for India is to actually play a lot of multifaceted players so that they have a lot of batting options as well.
Hmm. But right now, who are out and out pacers? I know Julan Goswami is just not there anymore, but like Renuka is one, Anjali is another. It feels like we don't have that many options in
There,
this format.
there is Shikha Pandey. She
God,
had.
Oh yeah, Shikha Pandey is one
God.
of the names. Oh my god,
Oh,
bro! They don't mess around this Australian cricket team, do they? It's quite ridiculous. Even this catch, to be fair, we would all struggle it even if we tried to catch it 9 out of 10 times. And that's India's hopes. I hate to say it, Shweta will agree with me. Which coach is gone.
I will definitely. Are they checking for the
Oh,
catch
that could
or?
be the miracle.
no, no.
Anirudh Kasargoda Statsman is getting interactive in the comments as well. Good to see that, Anirudh. Pooja Vastakar has the ability to bowl Yorkers at a consistent basis and has a good cutter, probably
Yeah.
similar to Peak Booby.
Yes,
Agree with
I
that?
agree.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's, when you're understanding women's cricket more and then you give a, a men's example, it tends to just help that person identify, okay, fine, what kind of role she is. It's a good job when you are need to provide that. So if we're
And
still going down that road,
India have used her also in that way. So
yeah,
even if when she was playing in the Asia Cup, she used to come to bowl around over number 8, 12, 8, 10, 12.
yeah.
So these are the middle overs that with her slower deliveries and the cutters. India, Harman has used her in that particular way.
Hmm. I mean, one of the comments said we should find a Hardik Pandya, but do India have a Sky equivalent?
I mean,
I
you
mean,
should have been in the last call. The last is the exact question that we had.
okay.
And that's when Richa Ghosh just played a paddle scoop or something. It's like, no, yes, he's like Dhoni and Sky. But unfortunately, she's gone today.
Yeah.
What about Shikha Pandey? I mean, is there a role for her?
Is she injured as well?
No, she's not injured, but they're not considering her at the moment. She had a really good domestic tournament and she was part of the Challenger Trophy as well. So
So what fitness issues?
I think age might be one of the issues. India is looking to build a new team for the T20 World Cup and the World Cup, so ODI World
Yeah.
Cup. So maybe that, but I think with the kind of experience she has, she can be the.
The
How
one.
to
So
say,
Arish is saying in the comment that Simran Bahadur could come in.
she definitely
So
can. She's in the squad as a reserve player.
can you enlighten us about
She
what
plays
her
for
role is?
she plays for Delhi, very similar to what Pooja does. She's a left-handed batter, bowls medium pace in the middle overs.
Oh, so that is your one of the options.
But she's not got a lot of game time with the Indian team. So if India is looking for that
But I
kind
mean,
of,
India would have used this red rubber better then, probably.
True, but define
she's in
medium.
the squad as in the reserve squad.
I mean, that still hardly matters, right?
But
I
define
mean,
medium pace that she bowls, like Renuka pace or
No.
slower than that.
Have you seen Pooja's pace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same Pooja's pace, the gun fielder. You have
Gun fielder.
everything.
save 20 runs there itself.
So she's been in the
I'm
fringe
still trying
scheme
to
of things.
figure
Right?
out, I mean, what was the point of adding the icons of this game? I mean, India just potentially lost an opportunity to beat someone
Yeah.
new. And there is one more player, I mean, who's talked about, I'm forgetting her name. Vaishali mentioned her quite a few times.
Kiran.
Kiran, yeah, Kiran Navgire.
Yeah, so she had a breakthrough last season with she was playing for Nagaland. She scored like around 500, 600 runs in the domestic tournament. Got picked for the women's T20 Challenge Supernova Velocity
Wow.
and all that. Fastest 50 in the women's T20 Challenge. The only concern for her is with her is the one is the fitness issue, the fielding issues, and then obviously in the second game they worked out that the bowling shot to her body and she unfortunately couldn't get that. She was like in 0 of 13 in the second game.
Yeah.
She got picked for the Indian side for the England series and the Asia Cup, but she
So
couldn't.
the Shreyas Iyer parallels to the men's cricket.
Maybe. Maybe.
But I mean, I think with age on her side, she can still improve on that
Yes,
front,
she
right?
can.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Guys, keep your comments coming through. So we're just going to be talking to Shweta about lots more things in terms of women's cricket. One thing that I always want to ask you, Shweta, because you played the game, you represented Mumbai. What is the perfect pathway for girls at the age of 6 or 7 in our country wanting to pick up a bat and ball? How is it? Is it literally like the men's, where you go to an academy and then you get scouted and then you play for your state and then India? Or
Yeah, very similar. That's how I started.
yeah,
So you probably go to an academy, start practicing with the boys. You have a girls team, start practicing with them. Then you have the inter school.
but dare I say, are all the discrepancies that are so well documented in the men's scheme of things, age fudging, um, politics, money, whatever, does that also come into equation with women's cricket? Or is it purely merit and you can't really
If I can talk only about Mumbai right
yeah,
now. So it's purely on merit.
merit?
Yeah, purely on merit. So you get through the school level, then you have your probables where they pick 6 people.
How important is school cricket actually?
They've just started building a lot of school cricket with BCCI also introducing under 16. So school cricket is basically where you take your first step and
Correct.
start.
And that's how you started.
No, I didn't start that way. So I have an elder brother and I played a lot of cricket with him, gully cricket.
Okay, nice.
And then go to an academy and I practically played with boys.
Ah, so the academy fast tracked
Yeah.
your career,
Yeah,
right?
the academy fast. So then there was a selection trials for Bombay. That's when I attended the Bombay selection trials for under 19. Got picked there. Then part of the squad. Then
Wow, that's madness. So basically, if you're killing it up in the Maidans or if you're killing it up in gully cricket, you can take the same route that Shweta's taken in terms of the academies. But it's become way better, like she said, because this was obviously like, what, 10 years ago?
10 years ago. Now you have school cricket. Now you have a lot of tennis ball cricket for girls because BCCI has introduced under 16. So they have tennis ball cricket, 20 over cricket, and a lot of that. So they pick probables from that, play like a round robin tournament, and then they pick the state team. They have the probability for about 20-22 players. Play again like a
Yeah.
couple of practice games, and then pick the final squad.
Hmm. I mean, we were just talking about it, I think, earlier this year. I'm not sure if I can put a date on it. But we just generally talk about the BCCI structure and what they're going to kind of improve. Oh, hold on. There could be another wicket here now, I think. No woman's land. I wanted to say that once, at least, for Watchalong. But I hate to keep going back to that whole women's IPL being the catalyst. But what are the other ways that India can take their women's cricket forward and the plans that they can put in place? Because you look at the men's scheme of things, there's so many chances for all these guys to do well. The Dilip Trophy, the Rani Trophy, the Ranji Trophy, it just goes on. For the women's, do you think they can have many of these tournaments from right small
So
age?
BCCI has actually introduced a lot of tournaments from this season.
Okay.
So they have the T20 Challenger Trophy and the zonal. The zonal tournament was not part of the plan in the last season. So they have introduced a lot of
And all
tournaments.
broadcasted.
Most of
Most
them,
of them.
yeah, most of them,
Yeah.
yes. So that is one of the plan that BCCI has taken. They started under 16 again.
Mm.
So that is because when you play under 19, when you're 13, 14,
Yeah, it gets you. It
gets
honestly
you,
gets you.
yeah. You're not, your strength levels are not up to the
Correct.
mark, and then you're kind of struggling to compete with people who are 17, 18.
Yeah.
So under 16 helps in that way.
Yeah, I'm sure it just molds you as a cricketer for the future. I want to know more tales about you and your debut and stuff. Just alerting the viewers right now, 76 for 5. India absolutely in a crisis situation. They're chasing, what, 197? And they're essentially going to lose the series 4-1. I hate to see it or say it, but that's the truth. Yeah, I mean, we're just coming terms with it. But Shweta just talked to me and the viewers about putting on that jumper, the Mumbai jumper, for the first time and playing proper cricket. Are the same things happening in a women's game and the men's game in terms of all the sledges from the keeper and all of those small things, or is it completely different?
Under 19 level, we
Yeah.
don't have that much, but senior level, yeah, sometimes.
Really? It gets
Definitely.
like there's some needle in it.
It gets. It's highly competitive
Yeah.
sport. You are representing your state, and everybody is out there to win. So
And have you ever had like a personal situation where, say, I don't know, a girl from Karnataka has just been like trying to poke you when you're at the crease in terms of saying, oh, try to put her off her guard, or you've never experienced any of that?
not really, but I have played against Karnataka a lot, and I know they talk a lot in Kannada,
Yeah.
and that is something I can understand. Gets a little easier for me. But nothing of that kind happens. So my debut for seniors was against Railways. So
Oh, okay. Oh.
yeah. So, but did have a few words coming my way in that game.
And you were nervous. Yeah,
I was easy that,
naturally.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
naturally very nervous, especially when you're playing against Railways. It's your first senior game.
And so when you played Railways compared to all the games you played preceding that, was there a stark difference in
Yes,
terms of
there
that
was.
level and this level?
Definitely, there was. Because you're playing under 9. So when I was playing, we didn't have the under 23.
Sure, sure.
We didn't have the under 23 level. So it's directly you're graduating from 19 and then you're into the senior level.
Oh, so it's
So,
like you're thrown in the deep end quite a
yeah,
bit. I mean, even in international cricket, in terms of women's cricket, they've just upped their game massively. I mean, this year itself, you could state so many tournaments which has done them a world of good. If you guys saw the 100 women's competition, the fielding just stood out for me, Shweta. Like, you could see, I mean, I know like there's some really good young female cricketers right now, but they're just showing that in every department, every facet. They're throwing themselves, they're seeing blinders being taken, and it's something that we never associate, but now it's picked up and the game's changed for sure, onwards and upwards.
2017 World Cup was the breakthrough.
Was the breakthrough the
Yeah,
watershed
but there
moment?
was a lot of eyes on women's cricket.
Yeah,
India performed well. That actually helped a lot.
that always does well for world cricket generally.
India performed really well, so that helped, and the fielding and fitness standards have really improved.
Yeah, for sure. Our stats man's getting curious once again, but we love it, Ani. Keep them coming through. I'm sure that burger that you ate, 45 minutes ago, has made you conjured up some questions, but no, just jokes apart though. Some of the players he wants to know that you've come up against, I should say. Any players who are playing with the current Indian team that you've faced before, bowled?
Played with against everybody. That
Oh
is the
my
part of the
God,
current.
I'm jealous of you. That's insane. And
Yeah.
when you look at them practice, and when you're having nets or whatever, who's the one that you're just like, wow, I wish I had a work ethic?
Uh, Work ethic, I would really go with Jemima. I think she's really dedicated. She really knows what she has to get out of a particular session. She's one of them.
Is she like one of those first one ins and last ones out?
Pretty much, pretty much.
Wow.
First one in, last one out, and then I look at Smriti in the distant net, and left-handers are always very elegant. They always look very elegant when they bat. So
I mean, this is a time period of 10, 11 years ago, right? Or 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
recently, we played West Zones together.
So how long was that ago?
Almost 2018.
Okay, 2018. So in the last 4 years, has anyone made that debut for India who you know pretty well?
Jemmy, Smith.
Yes, she's been Jamie's roommate for a
Oh
very
my
long time,
God,
so-
that's insane. So Jamie basically, even she had a similar route that you had, where you
She
gully cricket
She
academy.
played a lot for school. She played a lot of cricket for her school, and that's how she graduated to
Yeah.
playing for Mumbai under 19, and then from there.
That's insane. I mean, and obviously, like you guys have great coaches and setups, and it's different for different states. But is there one person that you thank in the MCA or in Mumbai right now to take you where you had to experience?
So my first experience when the first day when I actually went to Maidan was with Sandeep Patil was a coach.
Okay.
So I trained under him for almost 3 years before I went to a Mumbai camp and Mumbai selection trials. So yeah, he has a big role to play what I am today.
Yeah. And any words of wisdom that he told you then, which is still stuck with you?
He just told me one thing. He's like, cricket is a simple game. Please keep it simple. That's what we actually don't do in this modern age.
That applies to life as well.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
a
you were going to
very-
say that's what we don't do in cricket.com. No, no, we do it. We do it, literally. Even though we love
But
our
he-
stats,
But he told me,
but he's bang on. Yeah.
he told me one very simple thing. It's a very simple game. Please keep it simple. And when you actually go to Maidans or Mumbai, the first thing they teach you is matches are not won in the morning. They're won always in the end.
Yeah.
So you need to fight it out.
Yeah, that's true. And playing in a Maidan, so just think about it. I mean, it's been, again, well documented generally how if you're standing at fine leg, you might just get a ball from, I don't know, the other
Yeah.
sort of thing. So it's a little bit of bravado that you need to show as well. But I guess every Mumbai cricketer, whether it's Prithvi Shaw, Sachin, Shweta herself, has all kind of endured that long journeys, dust bowl Maidans, like, but yeah. And
But that's how actually you learn and that's how you improve. You know?
and that's what makes
That-
you a tough cookie,
That
right?
actually makes you tough.
Yeah.
That is why Mumbai is known for their khadu style of
Yeah.
play because they never give up.
True.
There's no option of giving up.
But I just suddenly speaking of Gavaskar language.
No, I mean, I want to know if Shweta agrees with SS98.
I just looked at SS98
Yeah.
11 and I pretty much agree with that 11. It's the same thing. I mean, you sort of not see again. Oh,
So basically, that 11 tells me he's going for all options: a left arm pacer, right arm pacer, an all rounder who can bowl pace.
See, essentially,
Oh, but he's left Puja out. Oh no, he's got.
he's
He's
you
got
know
Puja. Sorry,
he or
sorry.
she, whoever it is, you don't know who
Sorry,
the
SS.
person it is. So the point is,
Show useful to get my food. 1 second, I'm going to be back. Apologies.
so my thought process is if you don't really have a stronger suit, then
Yeah.
pick as many all rounders as you can. So at least you're picking more utility players. You never know which skill turns up
Yeah.
because I mean with this 11, it's not like India are leaving out an out and out gun bowler, right? But at least they have batting till what number 9
Number 9.
and quite a few
These
bowling
included
options.
Harleen. So Harleen in the domestic cricket also bowls a lot of leg spin. So that is
Yeah, and
another option that so there's no Jemima in the squad in the playing 11. So Harleen is
yeah,
another option that they can use.
yeah. The only one to miss out from this team is Raja, who is a leg spinner. But you say like you mentioned, Harleen can bowl leg spin. So
But Devika bowls a lot in the domestic yeah, and she's bowled a lot in the Challenger Trophy as well.
Oh, bowled him.
Oh,
Bowled him. First ball, rather. First ball. And again, it just can't. Now I think she's a leading wicket taker of the series at the ground. Yeah, yeah, for sure. She had
but
6
right, maybe
before.
Anirudh can pop in and tell us.
Yeah, she had 4. Now she's spot on. And for all the 10 people watching, please subscribe and like. We noticed that all you guys follow our content, but off late, I don't know what you guys have been doing. Subscribe. It doesn't hurt. Bottom right hand corner. Anirudh going on to say, as this match is heading nowhere, Shweta tell us who were the pranksters, entertainers, the headmaster, the disciplined one, and etc. You read my mind, my friend. Go on.
there's only one prankster in the whole game. It has to be Jemima.
Yeah.
Played with Radha a lot. She
But
knows
she seems like a renaissance woman. Like she plays a guitar.
very well.
She's
Very
she lights up like the women's Big Bash League
And this
buses
is
and the
this is where
fields.
your hardcore, you know, I don't know what that term is for those prime time journalists. They don't like her because whenever she underperforms, they just mindlessly blame all her other hobbies.
Or no, but that's there. But like
Yeah,
even on the field, like, she's a
yeah,
cracker.
of course.
I mean, she's having a dip in form right now of late.
But
Just 4 games.
Yeah,
Give her
just
some
4
time,
games.
yeah.
even before, I mean, and not just T20. Like if you look at ODIs, things, her tempo is pretty set for that
Yeah.
format.
Yeah,
I think the strongest suit for her would be the ODIs more than the T20.
yeah, that is true. By the way, quick update on my Swiggy food order. They've cancelled it after making me wait for 1 hour.
Perfect.
Oh, ridiculous. Have you guys eaten, by the way?
Nothing's going up this way.
Nothing's going India's way clearly as well.
We wanted to eat, but then they started banging. So
Sai Baruga, really appreciate your comment as well. Thanks to the guy in the white shirt who at least spoke something positive about SRH in your last video. The rest of us just sat, listened. Dan just said he wouldn't buy a ticket to watch us. Who's wearing white?
I don't know who's going on.
The last video was very much.
Are you talking about me?
Oh, that's you. Well done. Dan just.
Were you kidding or were you really thinking who was he talking
I was wondering which video he was
about?
talking about. Dan just said he wouldn't even buy tickets to watch us.
Yeah, he said that about SRH yesterday.
Oh, like
The
that.
video that he put out at 8 p.m.
Yeah. I mean, last time we did an IPL video, we got like lambasted by some KKR fans saying, "You guys don't know anything. Who are you? What are you? Korbo, Lorbo, Jito."
Still gone on call them royal man. But yeah, I mean, we promise we'll not about men's cricket.
Yeah, we won't. But Sai, look, constructive feedback is most appreciated. So thanks. We'll take that on the chin over there. But this game is finishing before we even knew it. 92 for 7, 14 up. There's been plenty of positives from an Australian series, but plenty of things to talk about if you're an Indian cricket fan in terms of the women's team games. Obviously, people think about this series as Richa Ghosh's, particularly because she's shown bright. The other positives for you,
I think the emergence of Anjali would be
yeah.
a left arm seamer is always
When was the last time we had a left arm quick? Ages ago.
I don't recall watching a left arm pacer for in India colors
not with
women's
the
side of
domestic
things.
team as well. The domestic sides as well. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the world cricket in general, I have not seen a lot of left arm pacers in women's cricket. I mean, I don't. I mean, I gladly accept that I've not seen as much women's cricket as other people might have, but from whatever,
Yeah, there are not many options.
yeah,
Right
because
Yeah.
the gun England pacers, I remember Substol and all. I mean, they were righties. Australians have righties. South African pacers are all righties.
now. Claire Kemp is not a part of the T20 squad now.
Left armers have mostly been spinners. I mean, Ecclestone are office favorite. Everyone knows
That's actually a
Ecclestone.
very good bowling. Even in the 100 in the WBBL.
WBK Lawrence Hill, that's one of the
So is that the rarest breed in women's cricket?
Maybe
in
Chinaman.
Chinamen,
woman.
yeah.
China woman.
There's no left-handed spinners as well. Barely any.
Not one at all.
Ba- I don't recall facing any of the left-handed spinners.
What is the craziest bowling type you played in your good old Mumbai days?
Leg spinners, maybe? Leg spinners, they're pretty handy at the domestic level. And there were like a couple of them who were really good. Devika was always one of them when we played Maharashtra. So, yeah,
Were you better against pace or spin?
spin. Spin was my strongest.
Spin dasher.
Spin out.
Oh,
Anirudh has spoken. She is the first ever Indian left arm pacer for India in
Women's
WC.
T20.
that's the information we need. That's the quickness of the man. I miss playing that Statsman video.
Yeah, we should bring
Yeah,
it back.
We should bring it back.
But guys, I mean, a lot of our team is on a holiday. So,
All the day, all
That is
these
why-
guys.
so all the extra elements, even if we want to, we can't add them.
Yeah, there's quite a few taking a holiday right now. Oh, that's a good shot. That's a good shot. Deepti Sharma has it in her, bro, but I've never seen her really.
She's really improved as a batter.
I know, but like whenever I look through the scorecard, she'll be like 15 of 12 or 13, which is fine.
Where were you in the first two games?
Well, what she do?
She was blasting it everywhere.
Yeah, but like not really taking the game away now.
She did. I mean, she was eventually
She
there.
almost did.
But she's a
But
perfect.
whenever we talk about Indian team, it's always about Smriti, Harman,
Yeah, there's
Shefali.
something I mentioned in the
yeah.
last Watchalong as well. I mean, Deepti Sharma in year back was essentially having a next session in the middle of a game, which was pyar say to a fielder, happy with it. It's like not trying to either hit it with soft hands to run or trying to clear the fielder. But now she's added more range.
She's definitely. And she's worked on her power hitting.
Yeah. I mean, normally, like in ODI, she's like a more patient, nudge and nerve and all of that. But she's probably a bowler who can bat, right? Is that fair to say? Or no? She's a
She's like
proper
proper
all-rounder.
all-rounder, yeah.
So is there an Indian
So
name
she
you tell
backs,
to Deepti Sharma?
Not really.
Not a Jadeja,
No.
right? Just getting that out there. I'm just
She can be picked for either.
Yeah,
either of the roles.
Because she opens the innings for Bengal.
so is that the same thing with Sneha Rana?
Yeah,
Because she's a good bowler and a batter. Like she's
But I think Sneha is a bowler who can.
Yeah, she's a bowler. who's
Really?
good, yeah.
yeah. So Australia just trying to finish things off. I'm guessing 100 to 7, 15 overs up. We will be doing watch-alongs for that try series if we can. Oh no, we can't, right? Because it coincides with.
It coincides with a lot of other
things.
And the timing is a little dodgy. The game will start at 10:30 p.m. I think. So
Yeah.
we'll have to work
Oh, 10:30. Oh, in the night.
18-hour shift or
Oh
something
my
like
God.
that to make it happen.
That's quite crazy. By the way, that whole 2023 calendar, men's, women's, the amount of matches
short,
is crazy.
short
And that's Gaushala
Short.
6
range.
range indeed. Come a little bit touch late, but that's fine. The biggest
The
drawback
umpire
for
who's
India.
actually officiating, we played together.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Brinda. So we
Brinda.
played a lot of university cricket together.
I mean, just on the topic of women's umpires, are there any which, like, stand out, like David Shepherd and Steve Buckner, like,
It
thing?
just started with a lot of women's umpires for women's games. Obviously, they are there. They started now for Ranji Trophy as well, so that's a good sign.
So 10 years ago, it was still the male level.
Yeah,
Okay.
The future is to have women umpires
Right.
officiating in the men's game.
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
And which we literally saw in the Football World Cup, right? The Costa Rica Germany, I think, was the first ever game where you had the women's ref, the linesmen, two of them, and the assistant. So, I mean, that's the only way it can really go
So, I
forward.
mean, in terms of players outside India, anyone you played with?
we played against England, the England national side, when they'd come in September. just before their series against India. So they played a couple of practice matches against the Bombay team. So we played against them.
You played against whom, sorry?
With the England team.
So who were
Okay.
the players? I mean, the known
Like
players.
Heather Knight and
Everyone.
Everybody, the whole squad was there. Nat Silver, Heather Knight, Danny
And
Ryan,
who like
Catherine Grant, everybody.
who caught your
I
eye?
still have like probably a blue on my thigh, knee, and everything. I think they were really, really good.
Good Catherine.
Yeah.
She's a proper pacer.
Yeah.
Proper. And she has a little bit of fight.
Oh.
Like she reminds me of the.
And our office favorite, Sophie Eccleston.
Yeah, she was also there. She was also there.
So you play, as in you faced Eccleston.
Yeah, we played against them, right? They're playing a practice
And how is
game.
Eccleston to face?
Pretty decent, pretty normal.
She was good against spin, no? Probably
Yeah.
signed her.
No, I didn't, but it was really nice.
And there's a huge difference between say an Eccleston bowling to say I don't know some.
So the only difference I felt when we were playing them was they were a lot quicker.
Okay.
Way quicker through the air, and it probably if you face an Indian left arm spinner, they're a lot slower.
Slower.
There are more evolutions on the ball. They're pretty much flat and quick at you. So it's very difficult if you want to step out and try and.
So I mean, in terms of domestic cricket and players who are coming up, I mean, for men's cricket, we clearly see that there is focus on nutrition, the training. How much is it the case with women's cricket? I mean, is there a focus on, like you said, that they're quicker? Because I think, I mean, at times, people from certain countries are genetically
strong.
more muscular, and that is why they have more pace in general. So I mean, what about India women's cricket? I mean, are they still at the level, or I mean, are they still focusing more on the basic skills and
No,
not?
we're getting there. We're definitely getting there in terms of nutrition, and a lot has changed after the 2017 World Cup. There's a lot more, there's a lot more media attention as well on how they're training and what is the fitness level and everything. So we're getting there. We're not up there, but we're improving.
So
Definitely.
if any women's cricketer gets injured right now, Indian women's cricketer, do they go to the NCA?
They always have an option of going to the NCA if you have national contracts, if you're
Yeah.
part of the say India A squad or stuff, you can always go to the NCA. You can always train there. Your
Yeah.
rehabs and everything. You always have the state association as well.
Correct.
So they're helping you with your fitness rehab. So
I generally think like it is the IPL which will just take the world to another show. Like because it's Indian cricket. Because look, even when we just agreed what is a watershed moment, she said 2017 you agreed with her. And that's because in a way it's coincided with India making the final and all of that.
also because in 2013, with the way India lost, it was a home World Cup for them. They didn't qualify. It was pretty much at seventh or something in the year. So not many people expected India to go out to go to England and perform the way they did.
Yeah.
So that was something. And once India started performing really well, there was a lot of attention.
Correct. And obviously like innings like Harmanpreet's and stuff would
It
have made
actually started with Smriti's innings. So we played England the first game, and Smriti started off with around 80, 90, I guess.
Yeah.
So that started, and it was a story that she's coming back into the squad after almost 6 months after her ACL surgery. So
That's mad. Alana King to continue. Oh, and Deepthi is getting some runs under her belt here. That deserve to be put away. Arinod going on to say the biggest drawback for India this series is their fielding. Like Sanjay Dutt says, Indian players ho to kharab fielding karna zaruri hai kya? Point.
Yeah.
they've dropped a couple of catches in the first game. They obviously missed almost 16 to 20 runs today. So they'll be
So is that the department where India lacks the most in world cricket
For
compared to
sure.
Australia?
That is one area India would look to improve, and especially because they're playing under lights with the dew coming into the picture, the ball skidding off the surface as well. So they need to be a little like at least 2 seconds early to pick up the ball. So there's a lot of fumble when they actually pick up the ball as compared to what you do in the morning when there's not much dew. So
I mean, just on the topic of fielders, you mentioned earlier, I think Simran Bahadur, you think she's a great fielder. We've seen Harleen take some speckies before. Who is the best? Who's our Ravindra Jadeja in terms of the equivalent in women's cricket for India?
if Harleen is there in the 11, then definitely she is one of the players. Then
Shot of the evening. What a shot!
Going on, the watchalongs are happening. It's more like just having a chat with Shweta. But yeah, we're not going mad because we know it's like a miracle that you need, but we can still appreciate beautiful
Timed and
batting.
placed.
Oh, that's close. That's Kalaiya ko istemal.
Use the speed. use her wrist, timing, placement, spot on.
And actually, the timing of that was quite sensational. Chetan's going on to say, Shifali, Spriti, and Richa are the best suited for this format. Need to restructure both men's and women's T20 teams. Yeah, it's evident. I mean, when Som said it earlier, that there are few superstars who are playing in this team where they should play other players, but that's the same story we've heard with the
Because
men's.
the thing is, we right now we are talking about the same 14, 15 players. That pool has to increase for India to actually compete with Australia, and that pool will only increase once there are more eyeballs, and there will be more eyeballs if there is a proper Premier T20
Yeah, but then
tournament.
it will become a case of how the men's team is there, right? Where we have
Not
so many options.
Not really. See, the thing is, right now, like for example, I mean, I hate to bring this example during a women's game, but I mean, Surya Kumar Yadav has just scored a 80 goal 19 and Ranji Trophy. You know, people are talking about him bringing him back in the test side. This is not going to happen in women's cricket because I think the future of women's cricket lies in T20 format. So once a format is fixed, there is no room for making weird decisions, mixing formats up, and this is where I think women's IPL will help women's cricket a lot more than what men's IPL has helped men's cricket because at times men's IPL has also resulted in some sort of confusion because there is such a big bench that coaches and management have been uh, uh, not willingly but unwillingly have been slightly impatient with certain players and given a very long road to the others.
Hmm.
But I think with women's cricket, practically speaking, T20 leaving the only space for them to occupy,
Yeah.
this will not happen. There will be much more clarity.
But if the women's IPL does happen, we expect it to be like a replication of the men's, right?
As of now, it's probably five teams.
Five teams
Five teams. That's the
to begin with,
proposal.
Yeah.
because again, I mean, it will be difficult to frame a squad of 20 Indian players at the moment. Having a 18 or a 10 team tournament is
But that's where
slightly.
you get hidden gems. Maybe like another Shweta who
Yeah, but
beckons
I
from
mean,
Mumbai.
even in a five
Yeah.
team setup, I
You
mean,
get
then there will be 35 Indian players playing. So
Yeah, so that's
there'll
tough.
be probably 60 of them. 60
yeah,
Indian and then the overseas.
So basically, that might not happen this year.
Nice.
it will.
But
Why
it'll be
won't
like
it
a
be?
shortened then, like
No, the
a
five
smaller
team
league.
tournament will still happen. Maybe they won't
So
have
the
an option.
proposal is, I think, five teams, and you play 20 league games. The top team plays the final. Second and third will play the
Yeah, this is
eliminate.
exactly what I said, Anirudh, right?
That's fine.
If you know, it's 80 or 90 and suddenly everyone is like bringing to the test team. And with baseball and all, right? Everyone wants every team to play baseball.
Yeah. Which
I
is
mean, sure, I mean, you saying something I can
No,
say.
no, no.
go on, go on. Vaishali is fine. She's like, apologies. It's just not allowing me to have a good internet. Very terrible. I said, it's fine. Blame Somesh and the rest of England.
The rest.
As,
No, I just
as if
joking.
like I'm the owner of Indore, I oversee everyone. The mayor of Indore and the CM of MP. As some has not embarrassed us enough. Now the internet.
Now the Do we have enough players both in quality and quantity to start a women's IPL? Well, that was a question that I just asked these two
And this is
fine
where I think
minds.
Yeah, we
team
do.
IPL, and I will even go on to say that probably to make it more competent, uh, if I can have five overseas players and everything, because six Indian players will still give you 30. And 30 is a good push.
I think
You
the
think so? To at least get
yeah,
the
I think
tournament
they
off.
have four and plus one associate mention. Four plus one.
Yeah, even that works. So that means six Indian players in
Five,
a team.
No,
five
but
will.
how's the health of our women's domestic cricket now? I mean, I know like you just mentioned like railways and services in Mumbai, and probably those guys have been the powerhouses.
Uh, Railways,
Railways,
definitely. That's the only team because Railways is the only team that gives employment to women's players.
correct,
So for the men's team, you obviously have a lot of corporate leagues and you have a lot of employment from, say, the banking sector and all the other
correct.
sectors. For women's, it's only railways. So once you graduate from, say, under 19, you come there, and if you're really good, you either get picked to the Western Railway, Central Railway, or there are so many other
Okay.
railways, and they have the like they make like the top of 15. So all the India players would probably play for railways.
Oh,
So
like
it's
that
railways versus the rest.
makes
Okay.
sense. So what are some of the best domestic teams right now in our country in terms of women's cricket? Railways,
Railways is the top,
Mumbai,
definitely. Mumbai is one of the teams. Mumbai is improving. They've not had a good season. So,
Karnataka.
Kar-
Yeah, well, let's just say Karnataka represent. Delhi,
uh,
Bengal.
Bengal has a very good team. Andhra is one team that seems really consistent, and there's Jharkhand.
So you named 6 or 7 teams. I'm thinking all those 7 teams have 15 players minimum. So that's a pool of 105. So out of those 105, you're saying at least 60 can't make it to the women's IPL.
They definitely can.
Yeah. So that's more than 30, bro. Jharkhand se le
No, I
lo.
agree. I mean, see, the point is, it's not just about filling the
Yeah.
numbers. You have
True,
to,
but like,
it's not, see,
who was a Rajat Bhate before the IPL came? No one.
I agree. I'm not saying can't happen. My only concern is they would want to have a tournament which is competitive as well. And I would rather have a significant bunch of players learning from the best rather than you sort of diluting the
Okay,
entire bunch.
makes sense. Yeah, I guess that was the thinking of the ECB, funnily enough, when they brought out the 100 because they didn't want to like have so many teams where it kind of dilutes competition, dilutes quality, and all of that. But I like what they've done, even in terms of the second season of the 100 and stuff, where you have a women's game and then the men's game, and then the men's game and the women's game. If that can eventually be kind of copied by the IPL, then great. But the IPL is a different beast altogether. So if they do bring women's cricket under their ambit, then they'll go like for like Gujarat Lions women versus Mumbai
Yeah,
Indians women.
eventually that will happen.
Yeah.
It will be the same 10 teams.
Yeah,
And this is where I feel India women's team will be as dominant as
As
the Aussie.
Australia. Yeah.
that is true. And you know the thing about the men's IPL as well, when it first started, because they had icon players, and you put a Lakshman, Hyderabad, Dravid, and Bangalore, you're already creating tribalism and fans there generally. So if you do that, I'm guessing Harmanpreet and Smriti, they'll go all respect in their own team.
I think they will have a draft.
They'll have their
not an
lessons.
option.
Yeah.
They'll have a draft system, and I think they've asked the Indian selectors to have a pool of players for the domestic, and then check on the availability of the overseas players, and then finalize the teams.
Makes sense. She really deserves a 50, Deepti Sharma, by the way, even though it's
So
a bit
Arish is
losing cause.
asking, Shweta,
With Shefali
Shefali
and Richa missing out the South African series with the Under 19 World Cup, who do you think should replace them in the 11? Shefali and Richa.
For Richa, you'll have to have Yastika coming into the side because you need a wicket keeper, so that is one of the options. India for the opening slot can either go with Jemima and Smriti as openers, Harleen batting at three, so that gives them another option. So
And Jemima's opened before for Mumbai.
she's open for the Indian team as
Okay.
well. So
Fair. And what about Tanya Bhatia? Because you have Yastika, you're not going to even.
yeah, because one of the things is with Tanya, there's always question about strike rate and everything. She's probably one of the very good keepers in India. Oh, shot.
She's getting there. She's getting there indeed. Last over of the game here, and
remove
India
that banner. Yeah, for Sharma ji ki
137 is ridiculous. But yeah, keep your comments coming through. We're just gonna end the stream once, of course, the proceedings are done, and not really happy in terms of India losing the series 4-1. But like Shweta said,
maybe we'll end it on a happy note when we reach it.
exactly. And like Shweta said, like this series has flattered Australia. I mean, they played some great cricket, but India too, for large parts of the series, was in it.
Except for this
So
game, which has been a one-sided encounter, to be honest.
yeah,
Especially from the situation that India were in after.
67 for.
Anil was going on to say, what about Nusrat Parveen?
Strike rate same. It's always
Strike
one of
rate
yeah.
issue, strike rate issue, and he's smiling behind there. We can
Mm.
see him. I was gonna ask you one more question. I had a great question for sure. Train of thought at times disappears and evaporates. What was I gonna say?
But we have hat trick.
She's on hat trick. She's on a hat trick. Give her the finger. It's a hat trick. It's a hat trick. And Heather Graham can't do anything wrong in the series. Top wicket taker for sure now, 100%. She was anyway, what, 6 wickets, and now she's got 9. And it's just been Australia's day out, Australia's series to remember, and all of that. 3 for 3, Heather Graham. Well done. Well done. I just hope, who's coming out of bat now? Anjali. If
Yeah,
Oh, so who's there? Who's left?
Gaikwad.
Oh, Rajeshri Gaikwad. So hopefully she can just give the single
Let's see.
to Deepti Sharma. You see, Talia Makar is the number one batter in the world in T20, and she didn't even have to like go into second gear.
Yeah.
Wow. But they get so much their damage done by Beth and Alisa Healy. Like, it's a bit- I mean, Healy. Go on, sorry, you were saying something?
I was gonna ask her what type of a batter Agra is. I mean, is she's very attacking or she's from the uh, oh, I'm forgetting the name.
From the
David Malan mode because he also rose to become. I mean, we know how the ranking was on the men's side, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the anchor batter
I think
eventually.
she's very consistent in the.
So is she more of an anchor or
No, she's more of an aggressive. I think
I
most of the Australian players they come and they from the ball one they'll start.
She gives me an impression of Cameron Green who can bat way better. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't she also bowl like medium pace?
She does. She does.
And she's not bowled this whole
She's
series.
not bold.
So Arish is saying S Meghna for the power game instead of gaming just before the World Cup. Your thought?
That can be one of the options. But she's not played in the series. India could have tried her if they wanted in this.
What is her
they,
first?
they keep on
What
going
is
to
her
the
first
same
name?
options
Sabita
again.
Nini. Yeah, Sabita Nini. Another Andhra player,
But she now plays for Railways.
and she's a pacer.
No, she's an opening bat.
Okay.
Yes, and she was part of the team in the New Zealand series. And
Who are the women selectors? You don't know that?
I do, I do. So one is from Maharashtra, and they're all from different zones. So
Then, but are they like Sunil Joshi and Chetan Sharma making shocking calls?
not really. The only shocking call was Sneha Anna not part of the 15, but we have no idea about what it
Sorry, I was clapping because that single brings Dipti Sharma on strike, and she deserves a 50. And it's so rare that you get these chances to get 50s in the shortest format, but that'll be a good thing for Deepti Sharma. And like Som said, she's been improving her batting, and this is just the proof in the pudding. We keep the comments coming through because I think we have time for a few more before we wrap up. And spread the word. Women's cricket watch-alongs are a thing. It's a thing on cricket.com. We'll have lots more guests and insight as we go forward. And something to celebrate on here. Even though India require 55 the last ball, it's a 53 that we're celebrating of Dipti Sharma, and she's played some beautiful shots. I mean, she's peppered the leg side, but I think the one that Som called earlier was the most pleasing to watch, which is carpeted for four mid wicket. But this one also was a little funky, but got the reward as well. So yeah, I mean, some things at least smile upon.
Heather Graham, Megan Schutt took the last T20 hat trick for Australia. It was at the same venue.
Oh
against
my
India.
God, Heather Graham 4 for 8 in her 2 overs. And that ends proceedings. Australia wallop India 4-1. They've beaten them by a handsome margin of 54 runs in this final T20 international. A ground that Shweta knows quite well, Brabourne, but it was a run fest this entire series. Wasn't a B. India could have had a different say in this competition. I mean, the series, if they had other results go that way. It wasn't a B. But still, lots of positives to look forward to the next series, which is, of course, South Africa, West Indies, India taking on a tri-series in South Africa in Feb. And then, of course, the World Cup, which follows after that. Guys, it's been fun. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Som and Shweta. More of Shweta, of course, to come through in watch-alongs and other things that we plan to do in the future. So subscribe, tell a friend, and we'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere because we are, of course, let me just plug in the IPL bit also, because we are going to be doing the auction on Friday, and watch us for that. And we've already put out a really kick-ass piece for Dan Weston, Shub, and Som on that. So excited that he just played it. Ani, if you can just end the stream right now, it'll be perfect. It's a goodbye for all of you, and yeah, happy Wednesday tomorrow. Cheers. Well done, Shweta. Well done. Oh, he's not even ended it. Oh, he doesn't know how to end it.